They rigged the election. When I turned, the election was totally rigged. It was a rigged election, just like they're rigging the election right now, it looks like in California. Can you imagine? It's 4 days, and they still aren't even close to telling you who won. You know why? Because they're rigging the election, that's why. 4 days. You know, in Spain, they had it like, I'm not a big fan of Spain, to be honest with you. It's gone very far left. But they had an election. All the votes were in, similar size to the state of California, a little larger, actually. And every vote was in by 10 o'clock in the evening and counted. You're going to be waiting weeks to get these votes. It's corrupt. Somebody said it's incompetent. I said, no, just the opposite. It's unbelievably competent if you happen to be a Democrat politician. Because with their policies, the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And when you look at an election, not even relatively a big election, for one state, for one city, for Los Angeles, they're nowhere close to counting the votes. But you look at what's happening, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And the people that were supposed to win, bad things are happening. It's a crooked state. We have crooked third world elections in a lot of our states, and we should pass our Save America Act. Amazing. And that'll really stop it, too. That'll stop it. You know, that's where you have voter ID. It's where you have birth of, you know, your citizenship. You have to prove your citizenship. I think that sounds good. And also, you know, I added a couple in there. Also, the ballots, the voting, the mail-in ballots, so crooked. They send millions of ballots out all over the place. If you're a Democrat, sometimes you get 6 or 7. If you're a Republican, you have to call up, where are my ballots? It's such a crooked deal. We're third world country. But I added 2 things. No men playing in women's sports. And this is like best of. No transgender mutilization surgery on your child, on your children. None. They rigged the...
Yeah. Long intro, but I wanted to play Trump's remarks because I think they're very important. And what he said there was very telling, and I agree 100%. No, this is not incompetence, what's going on in California right now. It's the exact opposite. I agree with Trump 100%. And it's the reason why, you know, some of the things that are happening right now aren't going to uncover the fraud. It's because this is very competent, what is going on right now. They know exactly what they're doing. This has been in the works for many, many years now, and they've nailed it down.
They showed up at the LA County Ballot Processing Center today just to take a look around, checking to see if there was any funny business. Now, could there be massive fraud? We don't know. But we do know LA County spends $336 million on election operations. And like everything in LA, you wonder, where's the money actually going? Because a local council member took a 3-hour tour and found workstations totally empty, totally unused. 25 bins of ballots, huge, just sitting around. Quote, it appears to be a staffing issue, one of the most advanced ballot processing centers in the world, yet it isn't being utilized anywhere near its full capacity. Gavin says slow is good. Quote, why do Republicans hate that California counts every vote? Gavin's acting like he's taking his time, being methodical, being vigilant. He's not. There's millions of votes just sitting around waiting to be counted, and they're barely making any progress.
So, yeah, you heard that they are going in and trying to investigate this, but like I said, they're not going to find anything.
Mayor's race as Nithya Raman, who is polling at third, suddenly gaining some ground, adding 10,000 votes as those mail-in ballots were counted. That closed the gap with second-place candidate Spencer Pratt. The U.S. Attorney's Office visiting an L.A. County vote processing center on Friday to observe the counting after President Trump called for an investigation. According to U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley, there is no evidence of anything illegal, but he says they will follow any new evidence wherever it leads them.
They're not going to find anything. And here's the reason why. Going to the polling place where they count the ballots, right? Where they bring all the ballots in and they count them. You're not going to find anything except for a bunch of people counting stuff that seems legit. You have to shut the mechanism down. This is something that has been in the works for many, many, many years. You don't think they've perfected this by now? You don't think they saw, oh crap, Trump won the election in November. Let's make sure this whole thing is bulletproof and none of us go down if anybody starts looking closely at this thing. Let's dot every I and cross every T. You don't, like, to me, that's common sense. Like, I try to put myself in other people's shoes, and if I was in their shoes, I'm dotting every I and crossing every T. Like, I'm doing that, or I'm not sleeping well. Because I know Trump is coming. And if it ain't Trump, somebody's coming. Somebody is going to show up to investigate this, and I'm not going to sleep well unless every I is dotted and every T is crossed. So go ahead, come in and look. Everything's legit. At least so it seems. Right? But I guarantee you, if you were to, one, pass the Save America Act, we got to get rid of John Thune. He's up for re-election in 2028 out of South Dakota. Yes, I'm going to keep saying that. You do a couple of things, right? And also, when the Supreme Court comes down with this ruling that everybody is expecting to drop here soon, where, you know, you take election month and you return it back to election day, that is going to be absolutely massive. That's going to be a huge, huge blow to the Democrat establishment. Because you're not going to be able to do this nonsense for months, which is just utter. I mean, it's crazy. And for them to say, you know, we're just making sure every ballot is counted is totally bogus. Because if you look at some of these other countries right here on your screen, Brazil, 124 million ballots. It took them 2 hours to figure out who won. France, it took them 4 hours with 34 million ballots. India, we know how massive India is. 640 million ballots. It took them 24 hours to figure out who won. 640 million. Just one day, 24 hours. Everybody figured it out the very next day who won their election. Germany, 8 hours. Argentina, 6. California, possibly a little over a month. How does that make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't. In what is supposed to be the greatest country on this planet, we've got all the technology in the world. You mean to tell me it's going to take you a month to count 10 million ballots, possibly? Nah. It's going to take you a month to figure out how many ballots you need in order to win. That is what is happening here. And so, yeah. Utter ridiculousness, man. And I want to play this clip from this California sheriff because he says something that's quite interesting. Check it out.
The way the voting system is structured, we see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. And I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
Yeah, just sending out mass ballots to anybody and everybody that's ever registered. You stop the mail-in ballots and they're cooked. But I mean, you don't even have to go that far, right? If you, hey, you got to have an ID, a valid ID to vote. And we change election month to simply election day. Make it a holiday. You got one day to vote. Ain't none of this early voting stuff. None of it, especially none of the late stuff. It's one day. That is it. That is all. One day. You change it to that, and Democrats would lose. 100%. 100% they would lose. And then if you take away mail-in, oh, they're getting blown out. Absolutely blown out. But I posted this next clip as a YouTube short. So if you don't watch my YouTube shorts, definitely check them out. I have a lot of them. I typically drop like 3 of them every single day. So even if you don't get notifications from a channel, check back on a daily basis. There's new videos here. Okay. If there's not long format videos, there's going to be some YouTube shorts that I'm going to post at some point in time during the day. So yeah. Here is something that I posted yesterday, actually.
We're now awaiting for a chopper from Van Nuys to land here with those ballots. And once they do arrive here, they are thrown into these...
Obviously, we're having issues, unfortunately, with Andres Gutierrez's microphone there, but that...
Interesting. Just as he was saying what would happen when some helicopter was going to drop off some ballots, they cut his mic. Interesting. Not saying that there's fraud going on there in that video clip, but it's interesting that the mic cut off right when he was about to say what happens when a helicopter gets there with the ballots. Just saying. Do with that what you want, okay? Do with that what you want. But yeah, man, this fraud is absolutely insane, because when you look at something like this, for example, and I'm not going to bore you guys with this entire video. I'm going to let you guys get out of here pretty soon. Nithya Raman conceded the race on election day. And then she conceded the race. She was on stage crying, doing the whole thing. She was down by like 9-10 points. 9-10%. She wasn't even in the 20s yet. I believe she was like at 17% or something. Down by like 10 points. And now look where she's at. 3. Barely a 20,000 vote gap here. Gaining ground every single day. And people have been talking about situations and circumstances where they're looking at, and I don't think I saved it. Jeez Louise. Trying to do too much. People have been talking about situations and circumstances where, they have updated the count, and literally Spencer Pratt gets no votes in some of these ballot drops, and it's just all Nithya Raman and some sprinkles for Karen Bass and nothing for Spencer Pratt, which is virtually impossible. It's impossible. Like, everybody just voted Democrat, it's virtually impossible. And then when you want to take a look at, and I want to try to find this clip. I didn't have it pulled up. I apologize about that. But hey, when you're doing this by yourself, sometimes you remember certain clips that you saw. And there was this clip of a guy who lived in California, and he was talking about how he received a bunch of ballots that didn't even have his name. Like, only one of the ballots that was sent to his home was actually for someone in the home, which is just absolutely crazy to me, that they're just able to send out mass ballots
and feeds it out.
No, that's not it. That is just absolutely crazy to me, where you're just sending out mass ballots to addresses without one, you got to clean up the voter rolls. That's something else as well. If they're forced to clean up their voter rolls, there's another major blow to the Democrat Party, because their voter rolls are absolutely garbage, because they're sending stuff to places where people haven't even lived for many years. So it doesn't even make sense. Oh, here we go. I'm going to have to edit this because there's music playing in the background, but check it out.
You guys want to see how safe and secure mail-in voting is?
Here's our mailbox. We got in the mail today. She doesn't live here. She doesn't live here. She doesn't live here. One. We have 4 ballots. Literally one of them lives here. Pretty safe and secure.
Yeah, pretty safe and secure. Received 4 ballots in the mail, and 3 of them are for people that don't even live there. How safe and secure is that? You know what I mean? One of the most important things in this country is just willy-nilly just sent to wherever without any cleaning of the voter rolls, without any double checking that this is the right address. None of that. None of it. I saw a story earlier as I was scrolling through, and I should have saved it. That's my fault. Got a lot of stuff going on. I got to do a better job of this kind of stuff when I'm putting videos together. But I saw a video clip of someone talking about how their dad was sent a ballot, but he lives in Georgia. He used to live in California, but he moved away years ago, and now he lives in Georgia, but he was still sent a California ballot to vote. How does that make sense? You know? But hey, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and it will not be cleaned up until, one, the Supreme Court says, hey, voting day, not election month, and then we can get some cleanup of the voter rolls. And then if we pass the Save America Act, which that probably won't happen until next year, unfortunately, but at least it'll be passed. At least it'll be passed. We got to make it through the midterms, so we're going to have to do this on our own without it, which we got Trump elected without the Save America Act, so we can win these midterms without it again. Is it going to suck? Yeah. Is it annoying? Absolutely. But there's nothing that we can do about it now. No need to cry over spilled milk, all right? We'll get rid of John Thune in 2028 when he's up for re-election, along with Lisa Murkowski. Those 2 individuals will be gone. One of the only rhinos that will be left, hopefully, will be Susan Collins. And I know a lot of people are upset with her, and I've been seeing, don't vote for Susan Collins, blah, 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 blah. But she's better than Graham Plattner. I would rather take someone who votes with us, 25% of the time or 30% of the time, rather than someone who never votes with us at all. Okay? I'll take 30 over 0. Something is always going to be better than nothing, especially if you're talking about the state of Maine. And as long as we get rid of all the other rhinos, her being the only one won't really matter. Okay? She'll stick out like a sore thumb, voting no. And like I said, it's not gonna matter. Mitch McConnell is gonna be gone. Tom Tillis is gonna be gone. John Cornyn is gonna be gone. John Thune will be gone. Lisa Murkowski is gonna be gone. All of these different rhinos will be gone. So if she's just like if there's 1 or 2 Susan Collins and like 1 other individual, will it matter? No. So yeah, let's get Susan Collins reelected, and let's continue to vote out these rhinos in mass like we've been doing, and we'll be just fine. All right, y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.